Top 10 New Anime Isekai with an Overpowered Main Character 2022. Here is the list of my top 10 new anime isekai with an overpowered main character. Usually the MC are transferred to another world, so these series are normally about watching another protagonist learn about the rules of his new world and discover his inner power to survive and thrive. Most of these series have the following type of main protagonist: loner, misunderstood, and overpowered. The truth is that their life will be totally changed by the arrival to another world where anything can happen. It's a lot of fun to watch these overpowered characters who learn how things work in the world written for normal people, and then get used to the crazy powers to make things go their way. It's a type of wish fulfillment, and it's escapism at its best. Here are my top 10 new anime isekai with overpowered MCs. Before we begin, be sure to be subscribed and like our channel for more top 10 anime and manga related videos. Moving on to number 10, The Dawn of the Witch. This anime had a great build-up by being a follow-up on what happened after the Grimoire of Zero. The story seems good enough for a binge watch. It's your typical isekai fantasy stuff, and it being in an already established world made it so that a lot of things didn't need to be explained. The Dawn of the Witch tells the story of a young boy called Sybil. Without memories from before he enrolled in the Academy of Magic, he faces a dire situation. With his low grades, he is likely to be expelled and forget everything from his time at the school. To prevent that, he is given a chance: join a special course in a faraway village. If he is able to show the results of his training in a way that helps the place and satisfies the academy, he will be able to graduate. Overall, I would say The Dawn of the Witch is a surprisingly enjoyable and easy to overlook show, and I would definitely recommend giving it a try this season, even with such an incredible selection to choose from. Number 9. The Strongest Says with the Weakest Crest. It follows the very generic rebirth in a magic world theme. The only slight difference is that the MC lived in that world, but is reborn with all his knowledge. He is super OP and the supporting characters are also strong, but of course, nowhere near the MC. Matthias, the world's most powerful sage, decides reincarnation is necessary to become the strongest of all. Upon his birth as a young boy, Matthias is thrilled to discover he has been born with the optimal crest for magical combat on this first try. Unfortunately, the world he's been born into has abysmally poor standards when it comes to magic, and everyone thinks he is still marked for failure. Now it's up to Matthias to prove everyone wrong as the world's strongest sage. If you like an OP MC with two girls who are strong after one day of training and following him, as well as a dragon lolly, and don't mind how quickly the story is going, then this is perfect for you. Moving on to number 8. The greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody. The demon lord Varvatos thinks life is a big fat snore. When he takes matters into his own hands and decides to reincarnate, he calibrates his magical strength to be perfectly average. But there is no way he could have predicted that everyone in the modern world would be weak as hell, which means he's totally overpowered once again. Reborn under the name Ard, he has ladies fawning over him, the royal family begging him to become the next king, and an ex-minion insisting on killing him. But Ard has a one-track mind, and he won't stop at anything to achieve his ultimate goal. Number 7. Skeleton Knight in Another World. One day, a gamer played video games until he fell asleep, and when he woke up, he found himself in the game world as a skeleton. Equipped with the powerful weapons and armor of his avatar, but stuck with his frightening skeletal appearance. Ark has to find a place for himself in this new, fantastical land. All his hopes for a quiet life are dashed when he crosses paths with a beautiful 11 warrior, setting him on a journey full of conflict and adventure. Good show! It's another isekai anime. A lot of animes of the same genre have come out by now, and if you still don't feel tired watching them, then this one won't hurt you to try. Number 6. I am quitting heroing. Ever wanted to be a hero? Save a world? Do everything right in order to protect a country or kingdom? Only to be basically outcasted and shunned away, making all of your efforts basically mean nothing, and all the work you have done just seems like you go to waste. You would want to quit being a hero, right? Quit being anything related to such, as it's what the title is all about here, and where we find ourselves. After saving humanity from the despicable Demon King, Leo Demonheart does not earn a hero standing. Instead, he is regarded with suspicion and hostility by those he fought to protect, treated as a pariah with nowhere else to turn. Exiled Leo seeks a position in the army of his former nemesis, but the army is not what it once was before its defeat at Leo's hands. So to maintain his new position, Leo must whip the forces back into fighting shape. Number 5. She professed herself pupil of the wise man. Sakimori Kagami has been playing the online video game Arc Earth Online for a long time as the all-powerful sorcerer character Janbalv. One day he falls asleep and wakes up in the body of a young woman. As it turns out, Kagami is now trapped in the game world of Arc Earth Online, 30 in-game years later, and stuck in this unfamiliar body despite retaining all his abilities as Janbalv. Knowing that no one would believe who he claims to be, he tries to convince the inhabitants of the game world that he is Janbalv's pupil instead. Number 4. My Isekai Life. I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world. Yuji Sano is working overtime again for a company he recognizes is terrible to him when a strange pop-up appears on his computer. The pop-up asks him if he's willing to accept his summons to another world, and thinking it's a virus, Yuji ignores it, which is taken as consent, and the next thing he knows he is in a fantasy world teeming slimes. Half convinced it's a dream brought on by overwork, Yuji decides to go with it. But is it really that easy to be laid-back summoned hero? Probably not, but Yuji doesn't feel like he has much other choice. Moving on to our number 3, life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. Childhood friends Tachibana Hinata and Jinchugi Tsukasa were living the everyday life of office workers. Then, on the way home from a mixer, they were sent flying into another world by a mysterious being. Once there, Zinguzi sees his best friend has been turned into a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. The adorableness of Tachibana's female form completely flummoxes Tachibana. But these two are each other's best friends. To keep their relationship from being destroyed, they must defeat the Demon Lord as quickly as possible and return to their original forms. Number 2. ARIFURETA, from Commonplace to World's second season. The ordinary life of a 17-year-old otaku Hajime Nagumo is disrupted when he and his classmates are summoned to a fantasy world and tasked with saving mankind. While his classmates are gifted with impressive abilities useful in combat, Hajime is belittled for only gaining an inferior transmutation skill that lacks any real offensive power. During an expedition in the Great Orcus Labyrinth, Hajime is betrayed by one of his classmates, plummeting him to the bottom of an abyss. Though he survives the fall, Hajime is faced with menacing monsters and misfortunes that send him spiraling into a grim nightmare. Desperate to leave and return home one day, he resolves to fight for his survival, only to meet an imprisoned vampire he names Yu, who is also seeking to escape the labyrinth. Taking an interest in him, Yu and a few others along the way accompany Hajime on his journey to find a way back home, while steadily transforming from commonplace to the world's strongest. And finally, number 1. Tate no YUUSHA no NARIAGARI Season 2. We all were waiting for this, right? Season 1 left some void that needed to fill, so there is second season in 2022. After their battle with Glass, Naofumi and the other heroes have a meeting with the queen, and Naofumi is shocked to learn about the 7-star heroes. Still reeling from this revelation, more drama unfolds on the islands before Naofumi and his party can return to Melromark. A massive monster bearing the appearance of a giant tortoise must be defeated. The monster is so powerful that even the mightiest adventurers cannot defeat him. So what hope is there for Naofumi? And yes, that was pretty much it for today's video. But before leaving the video, if you enjoyed our today's listing, make sure that you drop a like on this video, and you can leave a comment down below and let us know more about your thoughts, and subscribing and hitting the notification bell is a must, as we assure bringing you in the quality content. Till another one, see ya!